watching constituency was set to cause the extinction of 12 native species. Like, I cannot stress this enough. The Wild Horse Heritage Bill is probably the dumbest piece of legislation ever passed in New South Wales history. It's like if Queensland put a bill in to protect cane toads, and the bill was written by the guy who runs the cane toad races. The Wild Horse Heritage Bill was on track to causing the extinction of psychedelic and native creatures like the southern corroboree frog, New South Wales's hypnotoad, in order to protect a ubiquitous pest, feral horses. Look at what they do to the environment. Here's a stream untouched by brumbies, and here's what brumbies turn streams like this into. John's bill actually passed in 2018 and was law in New South Wales all the way up until late last year when the legendary legalised cannabis upper house member Jeremy Buckingham and independent Thje.bugle introduced a bill to repeal the act. Now, the repeal bill had the support of Labor, but this is where it gets really insane. I hear the Greens internally were actually split on whether to support it. In fact, to even get the bill through, some very clever politicking was required. Late last year, Labor Environment Minister Penny Sharp proposed a last-minute suspension of standing orders as there was a last-minute opportunity for Jeremy's repeal bill to be debated and hopefully passed. Guess who voted against allowing this to happen? The Greens, in tandem with, is this anti-progress combo starting to sound familiar? The Libs, Nats, Mark Latham, Mr. Hot Carl himself, all voting to kill crucial environmental legislation. How is that even possible? The Greens Party, ostensibly formed with the main purpose of protecting the natural environment. I mean, you look into their record even briefly and you'll quickly realise that is nothing but empty branding, to the point that they actually considered preserving a bill written by John Barilaro, probably single-handedly the most environmentally destructive man this state's ever seen. This was a no-brainer move that could prevent the extinction of 12 species. The Greens initially didn't support the suspension of standing orders that would allow the bill to be debated, as apparently they didn't want to be wedged between their old environmentalist constituency and their new saddled with BPD club voters that don't want to hurt the horsies. That crisis, after pushback from their initial no vote, the Greens were eventually shamed into supporting the suspension and the bill then passed. Credit to legalised cannabis upper house member Jeremy Buckingham and independent MP Thje.bugle for pushing that. The repeal of this bill is one of the finest examples of what minor parties and independents can actually achieve if they're remotely focused on governing as opposed to what the Greens are focused on, which is politicking. The environment is nothing but a brand to the Greens to collecting votes, and when the environment gets in the way of them maintaining their voting base, you will time and again see that there is no sincere conviction there to uphold any standard. None. It is all marketing. Like, think about this. You have the vibe that that should be a bill that the Greens introduced. Instead, they actively slowed down its passage. Jeremy Buckingham, from the fucking legalised cannabis party, had proven himself to be the far more serious politician than the entire New South Wales Greens apparatus. And without him, this repeal would not have even gotten through. Think of the power one good politician can wield. You could be responsible for the continual survival of entire species. Inversely though, isn't it crazy that we have a system that allows one man to potentially kill off a dozen species? It's nuts that the legalised cannabis party were primarily responsible for tearing down the jewel in John Barilaro's crown of unimaginably dumb public policy. And now we have a government that rightfully treats feral horses as pests instead of koalas. And John Barilaro, the man responsible for the New South Wales government's formerly inverse logic in regards to pests, after being deemed unsuitable for about half a dozen other jobs, has himself become a pest inspector. It's quite poetic, isn't it? Anyway, I look forward to updating you in 2 years' time on John's new career adventures. Ice cream man. John loves to lick. That old Ministry of Sound backup dancer. Hey, at least he's back in a ministry. Look at him go. Now, I've just got to say, do you think John would have had that career trajectory without public scrutiny? He absolutely would have landed one of those decrepit, cushy board jobs. Instead, he's actually doing something which is of actual use to society. I think this stands as testament to the fact that this channel gets results. A very common criticism that we hear from the 50 IQ lowlives that infest X and Reddit is, friendly Jodders goes after corruption when it's Liberal Party but not Labour. No, we go after corruption that actually exists. We are not here to fuel your puerile fantasy that all politicians are corrupt. If you want that, there's a dozen other channels that are more than happy to feed that life of yours. For instance, have you heard of this promising young upstart called Shane Dowling? If, however, you want a channel that will actually look into these claims and verify if they're actually true, go support us on Patreon. Support us on Patreon with the knowledge that if there is actually a public figure that deserves to be held to account, we will travel to hell and back to ensure that they are. As I think that we can all agree, John's resume or lack thereof post-politics is more vindicating than any court finding could ever possibly be. But on a personal note, thanks for the roller coaster, bruz. It was a hell of a ride.
Just try a couple things. Ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1.
You better move. You better dance. Let's make a night.
And Bart Simpson. These may seem unrelated if you've never used these.
Is the day.
You know, birthday cake, emotional support demon. Some days I scroll the internet and I severely regret my decision to learn how to read. Good evening, laddies, lasses and lasses, and welcome to the click. You smell absolutely astounding today. And don't let anyone be confidently incorrect and tell you that you don't. Today I have a tasty, tasty treat for you. And when I say tasty treat, I mean a stinky, stinky pile of poo. Welcome to r/content confidently incorrect, mixed with a little bit of r/get noted, because we can't have a confidently incorrect video without some rancid takes from twitter.com. Enjoy. Mwah. Posts about getting my period on my wedding day because I am irregular. Oh yes, indeed, it's on Instagram. This is gonna be so supportive for the girlies. The men in my comments. Skull emoji. Why couldn't you be a responsible adult? Poorly planning. Acting like you couldn't schedule your wedding after your period. Do you think you know exactly which day your period is gonna start, like 2 years ahead of time, if you're like booking your wedding venue or whatever, like a long way ahead of time? You think that's how it works? All right. Well, it's his day too, girl. Don't be selfish. How dare you be so selfish to have your period like a main character? Don't you realize your period isn't yours? You should just hold it in like piss. Don't eat the apple next time and stop ruining his wedding. Oh, are they referring to like an Adam and Eve thing? I think this is a reference to an Adam and Eve thing. Yeah, every woman is Eve. That's how it works. They are a hive mind. It's never random. It's just a sign of you're not taking care of yourself and eating right. That's tough. There's so many grammatical errors and spelling in this one. This is beautiful. 300 likes. 314 people saw this comment and be like, yeah, I agree with bro. He has the best takes on Instagram Reels. Leave her, bro. She's complaining about this junk. Just wait for the rest. What do you mean, leave her because she's complaining? As far as I can tell, she's just taking the piss out of people who don't understand anatomy in Instagram comments. Like you... I see that as an absolute plus, you know? The woman doesn't take crap from random creepy men in her comments on the internet. That's a pretty good trait, to be honest, okay? I think you're making their wedding and her period a little bit too much about yourself. Hey there, random man I have never met. Dump your wife because she doesn't take my shitty comments on her Instagram seriously. Please, people, never stop producing content. Thank you. My pastor said we only cover women's breasts in public because God made the areolas to appear like giant eyes to ward off predators. Since women usually have larger ones, this can cause panic and fear in horses. This must be the most unhinged argument I've ever heard about dress codes ever. It's not about specific dress codes or dressing for the occasion or anything like that, or like an argument about like too conservative or controlling stuff in society. No, it's about reducing panic in horses. Don't you realize swinging those Hadonka Madurkers around will panic the horses? Huh? Won't you think about the poor horses, Karen? You can make a skit about this. I just imagine a woman taking off her top and like a pack of horses just panic and like stampede a fucking city. That's amazing. I also just realized that warding off predators could mean two things, which makes the jokes even funnier and can have two separate meanings. Remember when Democrats called Obama the Chicago Jesus? Funny, but I don't remember cardinals running to post their outrage, do you? Readers added context. The term Chicago Jesus was coined by conservative radio host Todd Starnes to mock Obama, not by Democrats. Twitter is just a great place. It's a great place. Locked in winter continues. Slay girl, yas. What's in the water supply giving these women gargantuan horse privates? And why do they show them off? Two things. Number one, what the fuck is bro yapping about? You know, looking respectfully at other adults or whatever is perfectly fine. The keyword here is respectfully. But if you act like an absolute schmuck about it, there's gonna be less stuff to respectfully look at. Is that what you want? Is that your goal? What? I am upset on behalf of the lesbians. I don't want to hear anything from Elon the rest of this decade. Woo! Moon rocket! My, is that the curvature of the Earth I am seeing? And for anyone wondering why the rocket is veering off to the right, it isn't. It is flying in a straight line perpendicular to the ground. It's just that the Earth has rotated away from where the rocket lifted off. 11,000 likes? Okay, this comment is grossly incorrect, mind you. Firstly, the rocket hasn't traveled that far. The Earth does not spin that fast, okay? The rocket has an angle because it like shoots around the orbit when you aim to the moon. You don't go in a straight line to the moon. You're like whee, you know, kind of like that. That's why you have the angle to escape gravity and get like a little sling effect over to the moon or whatever. That's That's how it works. Not because the Earth is spinning super duper fast. Water is not a chemical. Do better. Ah, Jay. Thank you for your opinion. Anyway, readers added context. Water is indeed a chemical compound with the formula H2O, made of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. The term chemical refers to any substance with a definitive composition, including natural ones, like water. Wikipedia.org/water. Oh my god. You know, it's bad when you're getting racial by Wikipedia/water. You're diluted. We'll get you killed or worse one day. Diluted? It's called a dictionary. You use it to look up words you don't know. I think you mean diluted. Not diluted. That is so funny. Why is it always to people who claim that others should go and fondle dictionaries that have never fondled a dictionary themselves? Let me dumb this down for you. Learn, folk. A bullet does 3,000 kilometers per hour. NASA says these guys hit Earth at 40,000 kilometers per hour. That is 10 plus bullets stacked together, but somehow slowed down using parachutes and land safely in the ocean Uber boat style, so a bullet shreds flesh instantly. But a human in a metal flask can hit the atmosphere at 10x that speed, turn into a flying fireball, lose signal, come on the outside of hell, and then still land like it's a beach holiday. But yeah, after this, make sure you get your booster to fry your brain further. Okay, I don't believe they said they hit Earth at 40,000 kilometers per hour. They probably mean that they hit the outer atmosphere at 40,000 kilometers per hour and then gradually started the slowdown effect. That's what I'm guessing these numbers are coming from. If they hit the Earth, literally the surface, at 40,000 kilometers per hour, they would very much smack a doodle. Also, if you dropped a bullet from the atmosphere, it would reach like a certain velocity. It wouldn't keep accelerating either because you have friction and air resistance and that kind of stuff. Anything that falls through the atmosphere will have a max velocity, simply where like the gravitational force is equally strong to the frictional force from the air, because the friction is gonna scale squared with your velocity. So basically when those two like align essentially is when you just reach your constant speed. So anything you drop from the atmosphere will reach its speed depending on the shape of the body and the mass and yada yada, you know, how much friction versus how much gravity is pulling on it. So you know, it's not comparable to like literally shooting something like pretty close to it with a bullet versus dropping something from the atmosphere that's also intended to slow down. If you're keeping score at home, it's called argument from incredulity. Oh my god, there is a term for it. This is amazing. Argument from incredulity, also known as argument from personal incredulity, appealing to common sense or the divine fallacy, is a fallacy in informal logic. It asserts that a proposition must be false because it contradicts one's personal expectations or beliefs, or is difficult to imagine. Arguments from incredulity can take form in number 1, I cannot imagine how P could be true, therefore P must be false. Number 2, I cannot imagine how P could be false, therefore P must be true. Arguments from incredulity can sometimes arise from inappropriate emotional involvement, the conflation of fantasy and reality, a lack of understanding, or an instinctive gut reaction, especially where time is scarce. They are also frequently used to argue that something must be supernatural in origin. This form of reasoning is fallacious because one's inability to imagine how a statement can be true or false gives no information about whether the statement is true or false in reality. Yeah, so in this case it's basically like, oh my god, the fastest thing I can imagine is bullet, but this thing faster than bullet and doesn't go kashmak like bullet does must be false. So yeah, adds up pretty nicely, doesn't it? Why is P always yellow in cartoons when it's a reddish-brown color IRL? Hospital. I mean, it could also be like uber dehydrated, I suppose, but that's also bad. If your P is consistently reddish-brown, hospital. Not their first time doing that. Impressive AF. Who is the they of your there? I only saw one person doing anything of interest in the video. Singular they is grammatically correct. Pay attention in school. Clearly a woman trumps your they. Negative karma farming is wild. You know, usually you see bots or people on Reddit grift for karma, you know, so they can later sell the account or do like propaganda posting or whatever the purpose might be, right? But then there's such a thing as negative karma posting, which I am yet to uncover the true conspiracy for. Let me know in the comment what your favorite conspiracy for negative karma farming is. I would love to hear it. I feel great, and if I needed a doctor, I would go to one with a medical license. You call yourself a doctor, but can't spell license? That's concerning. License is the standard spelling in British English for the noun. Dr. Stone, being British, spelled it correctly. My wife is a doctor. You would be shocked at the things she can't spell. I know a lot of nurses and pharmacists have been very happy about the handwritten notes from doctors fading out. I mean, the whole joke about doctors' handwriting is a thing for a reason. I've had that happen once or twice myself, where you get a note from someone, it's just like, it's just a line. You know, when someone's signature looks like, you know, just a line that's a bit scribbled. It's beautiful, isn't it? I have never been to the moon, but from what I understand, there is zero gravity there. What do you mean from what you understand? Not zero. Gravity on the moon is about 1/6 of what we experience on Earth. There is no atmosphere, but there is gravity. So I'm guessing you have been there? If you're gonna claim there is gravity on the moon, you have to have been there. If not, then you're just believing the story of others. But aren't you doing exactly the fucking same, but you're also doing it incorrectly? What do you mean? Have you been to the moon? And you know, that's how you know there is zero gravity there, but someone actually saying, no, there is actual gravity there. That's incorrect, because they haven't been there. But you also haven't fucking been there, so you're both incorrect and also partaking in your own made-up fucking fallacy. Next post, please. It's not the next post, it keeps going, god damn it! Well, considering gravity is a universal force of attraction acting between all objects with mass or energy, one could reasonably and correctly assume that gravity is a thing for the moon as well. This person is so patient. I am not. Have you been there to see that it doesn't? If not, what credible, verifiable source can you cite to argue the existence of gravity on the moon? I have no verifiable facts to argue with you at all, nor do I wish to. The amount of laughing until crying emojis used in online comments is not causational, but it is directly correlated to how incorrect a person is. That is what we have learned here today, and it keeps repeating in all of these videos, and it's a fascinating observation. If you think we went to the moon in 1970, you're an idiot! Although the user is correct that no lunar landings took place in the year 1970, they did take place on these dates: 1969, 69, 71, 71, 72, 72. It's one of those where it's like they're technically correct, but I don't think that's what they were going for. Quote-unquote author makes the claim that Vincent van Gogh was Jack the Ripper, then argues with commenters who provide evidence that he wasn't. Holy shit, I had this ad on my Reddit page the other day. I saw this ad in person, and it was wild. Vincent van Gogh was Jack the Ripper. True story. Vincent van Gogh was Jack the Ripper. Case closed, volume 1. You know something is going well when it has no upvotes and 111 comments. Let's get into it, shall we? Vincent van Gogh was in France from about 1886 until his death in 1890. Jack the Ripper's first 5 murders occurred in 1888, with 6 more linked thereafter that spanned to 1891 in London, England. Your Google must be broken. You got your facts wrong. Is this just like an author having an absolute crash out about like the fever dream they wrote a book about? Is that what this is? Like, the commenter literally just pointed out that they couldn't have been in the same place at once, you know? It's like, no. Ooh, I wonder if this is like some AI psychosis stuff, that this author was sitting with an AI that just made shit up, you know? Oh, that's a very good observation. I guess he could have been Jack the Ripper, blah, blah, blah. And then you and your little AI bot has just been gaslighting each other to the point you wrote a book about it. Is that what happened here? I would not be surprised if that is what happened here. I googled it too, and they are right. You can't just say you're wrong when someone points out a flaw in your theory. Oh, here comes the wall of text. Vincent moved to Paris in March 1886, where I present he killed his brother's stubborn ex-girlfriend. He moved to Paris to Arles, France in February 1888, where he lived until he cut off his ear, was in a hospital, then arrested for touching women in public, then self-admitted himself to an asylum in Saint-Rémy in May 1889. He didn't move to Auvergne until May 1890, where Vincent lived. Isn't secret info. As for what I present in the book, Vincent was traveling from... Is there any evidence to support that? Or are you just making this up? Or you're not gonna say a thing, so I'll have to buy your stupid book to know it. Nice play. Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe they're actually smart. Maybe they are like rage-baiting people into buying the book so they can disprove it. My god. And here we thought that rage-baiting was like specific to media or Twitter or stuff like that, but now it's even reached classical literature. We are so cooked, chat. OP needs help. I need to read this next comment in like an anime boy voice.
Maybe so. It can be psychologically taxing to be so continuously attacked for something one knows is true. But after so many years, I've developed an ability to deal with it. The best way to help would be to read the book and spread the news.
Are you fucking daft? No, that's a bot. Holy shit, it keeps going. It keeps fucking going. OP, have you any idea how unusually long a day's travel is for Dutch people? Why would there not be similar murders in France?
Vincent had a high stamina for travel. He once walked from the east coast of England to Ramsgate to London, for instance. This also shows his obsession with London. He was transferred there at 20 in 1873.
Okay, so your logic is that he was obsessed with London because he walked somewhere once, and that's the basis for that he like jumped places magically to commit murders after he was dead?
I present he committed his first and second murders long before he progressed into Jack the Ripper in 1888. He also killed while living in Paris with his brother Theo in 1886.
This whole thing is just a fanfic, man. This is just a fanfic, but someone thinks it's real. I went to his website and he dangles 3 things as a taster. Number 1, he shows 2 columns of letters, saying one is from the murderer and one is from an artist and they look the same. Not even an attempt is made to prove the samples are legit by stating their history. Number 2, Ripper says he's 35 in the letter to police. The artist was 35 then. No words on method used to weed out all 35-year-olds. Both were 35 at one point in life. Coincidence? I think not. Number 3, artists live in a part of England where the first murder happened. All other murders, he traveled 24 hours from France for reasons unknown. Almost all of Jack's murders were within a few days of the artist's late mother's birthday. Coincidence? I think not. Oh god, it keeps going. Except he wasn't. What are you basing that conclusion on? What are you basing that conclusion on? You're the one who made the thing. The burden of proof for it. God damn it. Reading the book and seeing the evidence? Nope, you just went with a knee-jerk reaction based on initial thought of seeing the concept. If you want to disprove my bat-crazy book, you have to buy it. Man, this is just a rage-baiting strat, isn't it? This person is either having AI hallucinations, a fever dream, or rage-baiting to try to sell a bullshit book. Those are the 3 reasons. That must be it. May I ask for 1 point of evidence? I think you're supposed to buy the AI-written book he is promoting over here. Okay, so he's just doing an AI psychosis thing. That's what he's doing. AI. The word intelligence should not be used in connection with this book. This story is far more A than I. Oh my fucking god, it keeps going! I love when promoters forget to turn off comments. Also, what the living hell is this supposed to be? Was the research all done via conversation with your hallucinating ChatGPT?
Didn't forget, I'm used to the negative comments, but I'm always ready to answer any questions from those who have a genuine interest and those who have an understandable skepticism.
The people with the understandable skepticism aren't gonna buy your dumb book. Exhaustive and detailed research. Facebook, YouTube, and mysterious blog posts is not research. Don't forget hallucinating chatbots. That's the main source here. Mwah. Gorgeous. Yeah, so what's it called when a YouTuber does like a reverse sponsor? You encourage people not to buy something. Don't buy this book. It's the dumbest thing, probably AI slop, and even if it's not directly AI slop, the person who wrote it probably just used a hallucinating chatbot to write the whole thing. So don't pay for AI slop, let the bubble die. Thank you. Nick lost his programming job because the VTuber community harassed his company and got him fired. The VTuber audience is so psychotic they contacted my company where I'm a software engineer. Making fun of the VTuber community lost me my job as a programmer. Ooh, kick. That's always like a good kick is always a quality site, isn't it? I went viral. He mocked Iron Mouse, a VTuber with immunodeficiency syndrome, for pretending to have fun. Her fans didn't cost him his job. He was already unemployed by the time of the incident as he was laid off in January 2025. TLDR, he mocked a disabled person and lied about his layoff. I mean, as soon as I saw the Kick logo, I knew that there was some shenanigans going on, okay? At friend, would you save me or 450 million euros?
450 million euros is the equivalent of like $10 though.
Kid, the euro's worth more than the dollar.
Look at this. I even Googled it to disprove you. $1 is 0.85 euros. You see, so it's worth more. That's how freedom math works, baby. It's yeah.
You know, also what's so funny, even if he was correct about it, even if the currencies were indeed reversed from what it currently is, right? 450 million euros would still be like, I don't know, 420 million American dollars in that case, you know, even if it was the reverse. Now it's not, but even if it was correct in this, it would still be a ridiculous argument to make. So it's just like kind of wrong and weird 2 times in a row, but then doubles down for no reason, even though the initial argument is ass. It's the third pounder incident all over again. Oh, I remember that. No one wanted to buy the third pounder burger because they thought the third was smaller than a fourth, you know? Because the number 3 is smaller than 4. Division is hard, man. My IQ is in the top 95%. You are smarter than 5% of the population. God damn it. Oh, look at this little ceremony. Oh, this is AI. It's not, by the way. It is. Look at the book glitching out on the table. It's being blown by wind. Oh my god, internet brain rot has It's reached a point where stuff is either AI slop, or people have never actually seen a book in person, so they think turning pages is only something that happens when AI is glitching. This is great. We have reached the epitome of internet slopification. God damn, what a beautiful time to be alive.
Live longer by consuming a high-grain diet
Ooh,
in the Leonhardt
got some
study.
Dr. Mike.
You're arguing against those things.
And you live longer if you smoke in some of these areas.
But
Whoa.
it's not
What?
because if you smoke, it's in spite of smoking.
No, you're wrong.
But how?
You are wrong.
You know smoking is pro-inflammatory.
Nicotinic acid is one of the best mitochondrial...
Dr. Gudge, we have to end this conversation.
The British doctor studies
Smoking
showed
is not
that
good. We need to at least end
British smokers, British doctors who smoke have a 30% less incidence of Parkinson's and dementia.
Because they die of 10 other diseases.
Exactly!
beforehand.
It's because they die of lung cancer when they're 50. Of course they don't have time to, like, develop Alzheimer's. What the f***? Did you know that overdosing on methamphetamine when you're 25 vastly reduces your chance of developing dementia? You're welcome. Follow me for more health tips. Okay, disclaimer for YouTube so they don't take down my channel for like encouraging substances or whatever. Don't do it. It's a joke. The joke is that you can't get diseases if you're dead. Bro is arguing for smoking like it's the 1950s. Smoking's bad, kids. Alright, next post, please. Look at this little goose in the parking lot. The first time I learned that ducks hiss. It's not a duck. That's a goose. They are literally the same thing. I know. A big difference between ducks and geese. These things terrorize people in Canada if we go near their nests. She was lucky, encountered tame ones. That's not true. A duck will eventually grow into a geese. Plural. When a duck grows up, it like molds, you know, like cells do, like, and then two geese. That's how it works. What? No, Lamau. No, one duck, two geese. That's how it works. Two geese. Lol, we do not get vitamin D from the sun. Parentheses, I'm more trying to say it's not where we get our vitamin D from, not that you can't get it from the sun at all. I love the edit of the comment, so like the doubling down seems a little bit less intense, even though the initial point is still stupid, so it's like you're trying to bargain with the fact that you're stupid, but not like fully stupid. Just say you misunderstood it, man. For God's sake, just own it. Google is free to check. We get most of our vitamin D from the sun. But sometimes it's not enough, which is why some people are deficient and need to take a vitamin D pill. Or if you live in Sweden and there's no fucking sun for 6 months, that's also a thing that happens. Nope, you get it from foods like fish. That's like saying your body doesn't need water to survive. Are you sure you graduated? Internet comments, man. Education is not necessary when you have things like this. Under a video of an autistic child having a mental episode, parentheses, not posting image for child's privacy.
Sad. That's happening so much thanks to vaccines. Stop vaccinating your children.
Vaccines do not cause autism. Genetics do. Autism is primarily from genetics. The commons is pure pseudoscience BS.
No, they absolutely do. The rise in autism is insane. The chemicals in vaccines absolutely cause autism, have many other issues. Genetics ain't the only way this is beyond autism, it's madness.
Or, you know, it could also be that we, over the years, are better at recognizing things and offering support for it, which also means that the amount of diagnosed cases will actually go up. You know, this is true for many such things. Just look at the graph for, like, how left-handedness somehow magically became more common when left-handedness was accepted. You know, maybe that could be the main reason. You know, maybe it's just nice that kids these days don't have to raw dog autism and ADHD completely blind for the first part of their life. You know, maybe it's actually a good thing.
I obviously don't know anything about this, but based on other videos I have seen, detoxing from metals and mold and to deworm kids can really improve on this behavior. Yes, indeed, you find your kids to be a little bit too tistic. Have you tried deworming them? I mean, you got nothing to lose. Also wrong lose if you try to detox and dewormer.
Seriously? A dewormer? You think worms are the problem here?
Vaccine injuries.
Oh wait, so now ivermectin isn't only used for COVID or whatever, now it's also gonna be used to cure autism. Man, is there anything it doesn't cure? Wow, that's amazing. That's not American. Native Americans are Americans. They are native to America. But not fully American, though. Yes, they are. They're the most American you can get. They're not really American, though. We should deport the Native Americans. They should go back home. To America?
We need a term like